Welcome. I see we have a few guests with us tonight. Community members, guests. Santos Jr. out of Stockton, California. I want to welcome you here. I'm going to be here for about 30 to 45 minutes. This is your solution podcast. No gambling zone. This is the place to be. The right place, the right time. I am going to ask to make sure that we turn down all distractions. Make sure you put on your seatbelt, buckle up, because we are going for a ride, a good ride, a country ride, maybe through the ocean side. See the ocean, smell the water, look at the colors. Mind optimization, this is your solution, so welcome. 30 to 45 minutes. Welcome, Jim. Welcome, Emily and Mark. Let me see. Hi, guys. Hope all is well. Another week of no gambling. There we go. 7 days. Good evening. It's time. And Emily says, it looks like we might have a small audience today. I don't know what's going on. Good evening, Santos and community members. Hey, Race. Welcome. Yo, yo, yo. We're waiting for a few key people to come in. Anyways, we got a proverb today, like usual. Are you excited about what's happening this week? What will this week bring? What will this week bring? Are you ready? And is gambling really a lie? Is gambling really a lie? Or is it just mental programming? Are you ready for what this week will bring? All right, hopefully Jim will come on the screen here in a little bit. Before we get Jim on, there's a couple of things that I want to share. I want to do a share here in a little bit after we get into the proverb, and then we're going to invite Jim. And listen, if you're in this room, if you're in this community today and you want to come on the camera and share, hey, you've been 7 days clean from gambling. Come on the camera and share that. How are you doing it? What are you doing to help yourself? 7 days is a little bit of an accomplishment, right? 7 days. You can turn that into 7 days again. All you're doing is duplicating, doing the same thing over, right? Your good life is going to come out of a good series of good, constant, positive reminders, right? Does that make sense? Of course it does. 17 days without gambling. There we go. Okay, well, I'm inviting those of you that want to come on the camera. If you want to come on the camera, you're welcome to do that. I am still offering. Actually, next week, I'm going to start saying, hey, if you want a nice journal, I can send you a nice journal. Send me $5 to ship it to you. All right, $5. Maybe it'll go up to 10. I don't know. I got to hit you. I got to get where, oh, you hit me, Santos. Come on now, man. That's a free journal. You hurt me. Oh, I got to get you. Anyways, we're going to be getting into the proverb. So I guess, let me see. Jim will probably be the joining here. Let me share something with you about your mind. Okay? Are you ready? Let me share the screen here. Got a question. What software are you allowing into your personal computer? What kind of software, what kind of programming, what kind of data, DATA, are you allowing into your personal computer? Let me share something with you real quick. Hey, Laura, welcome to the broadcast. If you have a question, feel free to ask, okay, please. If you have a question, you've got, I don't, whatever, just ask. I'm going to share the screen here, something that I want to do, and show you a Chrome tab. Do I have it? Let's see, yes, here it is, share. Did we pull it up on the screen? You should be able to see it. We're going to do the bigger screen here, and I'm going to do just a little bit of reading. Okay. Just a little bit of reading, but I want to expand this. But I want you to look at this. Is interesting. In cognitive psychology, you may be able to see this. Yeah, in cognitive psychology, we see the terms working memory for actively processing information and long-term memory for storing information. Sounds a lot like RAM and hard drive storage. The way of looking at the human mind perceives human thinking as information processing, much like how computers process information. Isn't that interesting? And look at this a little bit more. We'll look at this a little bit more here. How is the human mind similar to a computer? They both use electrical signals to send messages. The brain uses chemicals. We talked about dopamine, we talked about serotonin, and there's probably other types of chemicals that are being released from the brain as you are being stimulated by, could be a slot machine right in front of you. You know, your eyes are kind of going googly, 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 because the machine is going, what is that all doing? That's just fun and games, Santos. That's not doing anything, really. Well, let's take a look at this. Both use electrical signals to send messages. The brain uses chemicals to transmit information. The computer uses electricity. Even though electrical signals travel at high speeds in the nervous system, they travel even faster through the wires in a computer. Both transmit information. Oh man, there's so much that we could look at this about the cognitive and the psychology of the human brain. It's just interesting. Of course, we know that the human brain, is more sophisticated. It is more, it's more HO, high output, than a computer because of the makeup, right? Anyhow, I'm just curious, what are you allowing? What kind of process, what kind of software, what kind of data are you allowing into your personal computer? Anyhow, Keith, welcome. Keith, welcome. Welcome to the live broadcast. I'm going to be reading here in a minute. Again, we're going to talk about your mind. Listen, you are at a place, you're at a junction in life. You're at a fork in the road. And the decision that you make going forward from here is going to impact how your mind, your brain, your nervous system, your emotions, your subconscious is going to impact your behavior. And if you don't like some of your behavior or all of your behavior, if you don't like it, there's a way to fix that, and there's a way to change it. By the grace of God, we can do this. And the time to do it is today. Isn't it? Today. By the way, thank you, Keith. And let me see, Laura, welcome. Did I get a chance to? Yep, I'm doing good. Let me see. Haven't counted the days, but I haven't gambled, and that's all that matters. There we go. That's a good statement. Like to hear that. Let's see, Laura. Good. Hope all is well with you. Hey, Keith. Hey, we're having a good conversation here. So I'm glad that you're here, Kelly. I have a week from gambling again. I'm at work, but glad to be here. Thank you. Time is going to go by very quickly. So I just wanted to bring an awareness to all of us, including myself, about the human mind, because we often take things for granted, right? You guys don't take things for granted. Nah, I don't think you guys do. Do we take this program for granted? Do we take this program for granted? I hope not. But what software are you allowing into your HO, your high output personal computer? Think about that with me here on this broadcast. Okay. My address. Well, it depends on what my address is needed for. This program has saved me for more ways than one. Thank you, Keith. I really appreciate that. Appreciate that. So you're getting some good mental programming. That encourages me. That really does. Oh, let me remove this. I didn't need that one on there. Let me get it out of the way. Not using that. But I will be opening the camera here for Jim. Hopefully Jim is still on here. He'll come on for a little bit and we'll talk about how, what can you do to reprogram your mind? Reprogram that personal computer that you got going on. There's a committee meeting every day. In fact, that committee might be meeting more than once a day in your mind. That committee meets in my head plenty of times during the day. You know what I'm talking about? That committee, they go upstairs and they go into the conference room and they make decisions. And next you know, you're doing the bid. You're doing the bid. You're going out and doing the thing. That's how the mind works. Yeah. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Um, Laura says, I've had many slips. I have many slips. Women wear slips, don't they? That's just a joke there. But I'm telling you, it's going to get hard. I was talking to a young man the other day and I was thinking about his mindset. What's happened to this young man? He was kind of like a topo, kind of, walking around the gas station where we were going to get some munchies and stuff to eat, some goodies. And then he wandered off across the street. But before I went into the store, 76 or what is it? Not the 76 station. He asked me if I knew Javier. Now, I don't know this guy. I do know Javier, but he doesn't know me I've never seen this guy before. So he says to me, do you know Javier? And right there, just let me know that this guy's mental mindset probably has taken over his behavior and his life. Imagine your personal computer completely taking over. And then he wandered off and we stared at him and I could see that he was smoking a pipe. He had a big fire, like a big bonfire. I don't know if it was crack or whatever. And I said to myself, man, no wonder people live down in a van down by the river. Their mind is taken over. The program, the data, the software was so powerful and so influential. It just took them over. It took them over. Hey, Keith, thank you for the donation, the contribution. Thank you. I will say this regarding reprogramming. I realize that my time is precious and gambling was stealing that from me. Now I know with SciTech, stay in touch email communication that we provide, I have time to plan the rest of my life one day at a time. You inspire me, Keith. You really do. And it's not just the contributions. I really appreciate all of you because you all give in some way, whether you give financially or whether you give. Some of you do give consistently, and I really appreciate that. It says something about you when you're doing that. Remember what I said, and I'll say this always, that your good life will come out of a good series of good, constant, positive reminders. And that's what happens when you keep doing good, man. You're planting a seed. It's just going to change your life and it's going to impact the lives of other people. Keith's life is being changed in some way. As a result, he's blessing me, right? And I believe that we can give God the glory because I'm just a vessel. I'm just a pipe that water flows through. I'm just a conduit that maybe some energy, electricity flows through. And hopefully it won't shock people to death, but it'll shock them to wake up. Anyways, I'm doing too much. Let me get into the proverb real quick. Thank you for that. Jim, are you still on here? We're going to be, and Keith, you're welcome to come on anytime. Share. I'm going to see if Jim is on. He'll come on and let's talk about this a little bit more. But before we do, I want to read some interesting proverbs to you because time is going by very quick. Am I acknowledging everybody? I know there's been quite a few people here. I want to make sure that I acknowledge. And again, hey, I got to say this. I'm going to say this as loud as I can. So hopefully you will hear me. Gambling is a lie. All right, let me get into the proverb. This is Romans chapter 1. This is the preacher in me coming out now. All right, let's get into this. This is very interesting. It says, "For I'm not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power of God unto salvation to everyone that believes, to the Jew first, and also to the Gentile." It's Greek, but in the original language of the New Testament, it's Koine Greek. So the word is actually Gentile. It's not Greek, if I'm correct. "For therein is the righteousness of God revealed from faith to faith, as it is written, the just shall live by faith." Right? We live by faith, not what we see. We live by faith. What is faith? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. The just shall live by faith. "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteous of men who hold the truth in unrighteousness." I'm going to bring you on, Jim, here. I see you coming on. And it says, "Because they hold the truth in unrighteousness, because that which may be known of God is manifest in them, for God has showed it unto them. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen and being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, so that they are without excuse." Wow. That's some very deep. I thought I was going to scare everybody away. But I love reading the Proverbs. It's soul food, it's fresh soul food. And I would encourage everyone to at least pick up a Bible and read a proverb, read the Psalms. Uh, Psalm 23, "The Lord is my shepherd. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil." There's some really wonderful proverbs in there that will help build faith. And who knows, it might help you build a relationship that you could have or that you don't have between you and the Creator. I'm not here to judge. All I know is that what I have is by the grace of the Almighty. And like I said, I'm just a conduit. I'm an electrical wire. Maybe some good energy is flowing through me to reach people. And I pray that it continues to get, the voltage gets higher. I don't shock people to death, though. Hey, Jim, welcome.
Hi there, Santos. How's it going?
It's going super fantastic, terrific, over the top, man. So, what do you think about this programming? We've been talking about all kinds of different things over the last couple of weeks, and we still are obviously talking about building relationships and building networks and going forward. Well, today, we're part of that is the programming, either the programming that we've had or that we need or that we are getting. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, Santos, you talked about programming. I was thinking about kind of like the language that we use and how powerful language can be in moving the way we think about ourselves, how we feel about ourselves. I was thinking about the word apathy today. And I listen to YouTube like everyone else, and I hear people talk about, oh, the world's getting apathetic, and I thought about the word, and when we talk about apathy, it's like you don't care, you don't really care what happens.
Mm.
I'm thinking, I think about the word apathy, and then I reflected upon myself, and I think, oh gosh, I haven't done much to help the world. I guess I'm apathetic. I'm a bad person. You know what I mean? It's very subtle. It's very subtle. But I make this connection, and I start to question. It's like, well, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Am I apathetic? Look, I mean, I think about other things like, you know, what's the best way to take care of this world? Take care of yourself. If you can be strong, you know, you can help others. But if you can't take care of yourself, you're going out and trying to change the world, do this and that, because you don't want to be apathetic, right? You get programmed like that. It's like, well, wait a minute, I'm being pulled in a direction that someone else had, you know, an idea that's not really beneficial to me, and I'm getting programmed. You talked about being programmed. It's like, well, wait a minute. I'm not going to feel like this. I'm going to go ahead and push back on this language that I'm receiving, and I'm going to go and say, stop. Wait a minute. Is this kind of language helping me? Or is it hurting me? So I had to be very, very careful about words. We talked about gambling, right? Gambling. Well, if I'm called a gambler, right, that's a negative connotation right there. But really, what
Yes.
is gambling, right? What is gambling? Gambling is decisions, right, that we make. Decisions. Now, what makes a good decision or a bad decision? I think it's based upon, probabilities, right? Did we if, like, what is a gambling is, if the house has the odds in their favor, probably not good for us to make a decision to constantly go back and throw our money down on the table, right?
Yeah,
Probably
that's
not a good
that's it.
decision.
Just that doesn't. That's not. Yeah, that doesn't sound good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm thinking, okay, so, making good decisions and bad decisions. I think about, our lives, it's like, we made it this far, right? S- If we made it this far in our lives, that means the odds are stacked in our favor. Our favor. Now
Yeah.
we just need to just, you know, put money on ourselves, in other words. We have to make the right decisions, mind you, right? We have to what? We have to gather the best information that we can, right? We have to understand the probabilities, what are the chances of me making it, You know, number one, I can do it. All right. That's number one. Number two, what's the best information to guide me on whether I'm going to do this or do that. Okay. And then you execute. Right. So, I mean, it's like I really should gamble. I should gamble on myself. Sometimes we get stuck. Gamble. I was thinking about this cryptocurrencies, right? It's like was feeling bad, right? Oh, you know what? I'm gambling by not investing right now or putting my money on. It's like, oh, it went up. It's like, oh, I feel bad because I didn't gamble, right? I didn't put the money there, right?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. It's like, you know, you make a decision and you just execute, right? With the best information that you have and where you want to go. I mean, it's like, you know, you have to decide which path is the best for you and where are the odds
Yeah.
stacked,
Yes.
and then just and just believe that you can move in that direction. Wherever you're trying to go. I mean, you have the ability to get where you want to go, do the research, you know, and move in that direction. So, I mean, like language can kind of move us in good directions or bad directions. That's one thing that I was thinking about in regards to programming, right?
Yeah. Your own self-talk. Your own self-talk. I had a dream, a real vivid dream a couple days ago. I parked my car, my new car, in front of a storefront there in San Francisco. Just goes to show you how your mind works. Um, how the programming stays in deep in your subconscious.
Hmm.
Anyways, I parked my car in front of the storefront. I went to San Francisco, and then I went to go gamble at a building a couple of maybe just a few steps away from that storefront in San Francisco. Right, this is in my dream. So I walked into this casino, and there was a bunch of people. It was a small casino, it wasn't that big. I went, I think like I went upstairs, and I walked around, and I was looking for I was looking for I was looking for a slot machine, something that would. As I was walking in there, it's really strange. I was thinking, you know, I had the wisdom that I have today, and I'm thinking, let the slot machine talk to you. I'm figuring out what would be the best place for me to go. Well, anyways, I didn't get to the slot machine. I didn't find a slot machine. I walked through there, and next thing I came out, and I went back to where my car was, and the owner of the store where I parked my car. This is really funny. He was there, and he was upset that I had parked my car. It looked like I parked my car right in front of his door. And this was my red Kia, the new car that I have. And so he goes, somehow he got my keys, and I'll move the car for you. So I'm standing there. It's still early in the morning or late at night. I think it was early in the morning. I didn't gamble in the casino. It was real weird, but I didn't gamble. So how deep my programming is today. Even in my dream, I didn't gamble. So, anyways, I went back, and next thing you know, my car is gone. I'm looking at my watch, and I start crying. It's like I got really emotional because it's a new car and it's turbo and it's kind of a sports car. And I'm thinking, in San Francisco, this guy's probably ramming my car up the hills. Who knows what he's doing? Then he's going to bring it back to me, and it's going to be a mess, and I'm going to hate myself. And I'm sharing this with you because it goes to show you how it was just funny. And then, by the way, I woke up before he brought the car back. So I woke up. But man, I remember that dream like it was just a video, so vivid. And the fact that I didn't gamble, I thought about that, because I went in there to gamble, but I didn't gamble. Listen, the program that you're allowing into your mind is going to work through your sleep, through your dreams, and of course, how all of that manufactures, I don't know, but it's a part of our existence. The subconscious, the dream, and this programming. Right now, there's programming going on. Right. Whenever I say, that's why I really enjoy saying this, Jim. I enjoy saying this. Gambling is a lie. Now, what does that mean? That means different things to everybody in a sense, right? Not everybody sees gambling the way I see it. When I say it's a lie, I have a certain perspective that I see it as. You have to see it as your own perspective, but it is a lie. And that's the programming that you have, especially if you are a troubled gambler, if you're still having problems with gambling, you need rewiring. We all need. I know I do, man. Sometimes I don't journal. Sometimes I'll go a day or two without journaling. And I say, well, I didn't journal. I didn't need to journal. But there was a period where I was journaling every single day. But I journal at least several times a week, several times a month. I still journal. It's a part of me. And, but it's like once you program yourself to a certain level in life, then now you're looking for the next program to develop to that next level where you want to go. We never stop. This personal computer never stops developing for us.
When you
Anyway,
talk about programming, it's interesting. Going back to Maxwell Maltz, I believe that his message is we're programmed to succeed. Now, I think about criminals, and I guess this can fall in line with like the problem gambler too. You know, criminals when they're caught, they find the most creative ways to kind of slither and sneak out of the situation when they're
yeah.
being interviewed, interrogated by the police. It's like, my gosh, that is like a fantastic story where they gave their alibi and this. It's like, wow. I think problem gamblers, they find a way to get that money to gamble. They figure out crafty ways.
Yeah.
If they don't have it, they figure out
Mhm.
ways. It's
Yeah.
amazing, when you have a certain desire, right? When there's a desire, I mean, there's a magnetic pull that makes you find what you are trying to get at. Now, if that's the case, there's hope for all of us if we have a desire to move in a positive direction. If we can just
Exactly.
if we can decide on a positive direction that we want to go, we can find a way. If we can find a way to dig ourselves into a deep hole, right? We can find a way to get to the top of the mountain. We can find if we have that desire. And we got to have that hope, right? We got to have that hope. And we made it this far. I'd
Yeah.
like to go and say once again, we made it this far. The odds are in our favor. The odds are in our favor. We can do it.
Exactly. Well, the odds are in our favor, but the odds are also stacked against all of us. You know what I mean? The only thing that we can do is we can work. We're not going to change the odds. All we can do is kind of maybe make it more balanced on our end so that we can get through these things in life. It's going to get, life is going to get like gambling. It'd be, for some people, it'd be cool if gambling advertisements just died out. No more gambling advertisements. No, you know, no, it's not going to die out. That programming is going to continue to increase. They're looking to program minds. They're looking, and what you were just speaking about. about the criminals there, Jim, that it's a programming, right? It's all programming. We either have gotten a lot of it from childhood or we're getting a lot of it now. And you know what? I'm very, very grateful that I'm getting mines now. Even though who knows, maybe it's a little late in the game for me. I don't know. But I know that my programming, I really depend on it. My personal computer has become something that I realize is a gift. It's something that I shouldn't really play with. And you have to be extremely cautious with your own mind because again, there's people living like this young man that I was speaking about. There's people living in a van. We saw that on Saturday Night Live as a who was it, that big fella that passed
Chris
away?
Farley.
Yeah, he made fun of that. Became a motivational speaker, but he lives in a van down by the river. And there's people that actually live in a van or a tent. How do they get there? Something snaps, man. Something definitely snaps and takes over, and it becomes a whole new way of living for them. They leave the present world. Can they come back? Some homeless people do return. But I hear that a lot of homeless people that have been out there for years, they try to take them out of that environment and they don't, they go right back. It's the same thing with gambling, right? Addiction, any addiction. If you've been at it, if that addiction has, like I've said this many times in many videos, it's a sharp hook. And if that sharp silver hook, maybe it's a gold one, if that thing is deep enough in your subconscious, it's going to be hard to break away from it.
Yeah.
And with everything that's happening, your good life is going to come out of a good series of good, constant positive reminders. The opposite of that is true also. The more viewing that you're getting at, that's going to lead you more faster into the wrong direction. And all of these things today, we're learning about subliminal messaging. We're learning about these altered mind states that commercials and words and colors and sounds can put you into without you even being aware of it.
Hmm.
But if you're aware of these things, now you're prepared. Now, when you go out there, oh, yeah, there's times where, Jim, there's times where I'll be out in the store, like at Walmart or some store somewhere, and I'll hear like a noise, like a ding, some weird noise, and it reminds me of the slot machine. It registers as a slot machine in my mind. Isn't that something?
Hmm.
Like a ping or whatever it is. And so again, the programming, either you're being programmed today, either you are programming yourself or you're being reprogrammed.
Yeah. Yeah. You talk about the mind as being like a computer. I think about like what we focus on. You know, is like a source of energy. Okay, it's like a source of
Yeah,
energy, and our mind creates this network, right? This network on trying to get this source of energy, and it's making these new pathways, to find ways to get that source. When we put our attention on that source, all these ways, it's like, oh, you know what? Ooh, I feel good gambling. It's like, you know, how can I get more of it all? I can move to Las Vegas. Yeah, it's like, so I can sell my house here. All these ideas start kind of forming. That's kind of like developing like a web. Surrounding that source, that focus.
yeah,
Just to kind of feeding off of that focus, you
yeah.
know, and that could be bad, very bad.
What's
You
this?
know,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like what let's say watching this show, right? This show is pointing us in a focus in a good way to take care of ourselves and make better decisions for ourselves, looking at ourselves and how we can improve ourselves, right? So now the mind is creating these networks of ideas, focusing on that, and it's becoming stronger and stronger. New pathways, new tools, new ideas, new questions, you know
yeah,
and we want to get it to that point where that network is is stronger than that focus on the bad stuff, the bad stuff.
Oh, yeah, the focus thieves.
The focus sees. That's right. We
Yeah,
want to create an energy, that we desire, right? Where our mind can really concentrate in developing that network, on finding out how can I get that? How can I get that positive energy, that those good ideas, that good place where we want to go?
exactly. And you
So yeah,
mentioned something
focus is important.
earlier. You mentioned something earlier. Your self-talk. Your
Yeah.
self-talk is either helping your programming, or it's actually it's delaying it.
Hmm.
It's either delaying it. Well, I wouldn't say delaying. It's either improving it, or it's either improving it, or it's pushing it away. Your self-talk. Mind mouth power congruency. Exactly, K6. By the way, I want to welcome, let me see, Keith, thank you for sharing that. You got my email, creating good habits and knowing where you will be every hour right now. Yeah. I mean, if you know where you're going, if you know where you're going, does that make sense? If you know where you're going, well, how do you know where you're going? You have to know where you're going. I know that's a play, but it makes sense. Um, yeah, Carlito. Hey, welcome. I think I've seen you here before. Carlito, welcome. Gambling is a time of wasting and energy. Exactly. Just as Jim has shared, just as I've shared, let me tell you something. This is the right, I get so much out of this broadcast here. And that's why it's not about me. I know this is not about me because I'm not the wisest person in the world. My long gone, tame the starving mind. There we go. I'm sure Jim doesn't feel that. In fact, the more you learn, the more that you learn, the more you realize how much you don't know.
Hmm. Yeah.
Isn't that true?
Yeah. Right.
You
Yes.
go deeper and you realize, and then you come across eureka moments, like they say, aha, how am I going to get this across to somebody else? That's the wonderful challenge. Let me see. Emily says the only way to stop gambling is to stop gambling. Yeah, yeah. If you listen, if you want to contribute to this mission, and I appreciate all of you guys, I really do. If you want to contribute, you can do that. You can actually go through PayPal, um, and you can use that email that I just sent. You can use that. Whatever, $2, $5. Send $1,000. Don't use that for the casino. Send it to this mission. We've got some great things going on right now, and um, the engineer Cephas is extremely busy, so um, we may have to hire another virtual assistant. I may have to help because we're creating digital programs. In fact, Jim, I don't know, maybe you might be able to help and get some ideas going. I'm basically going to probably need another video editor, somebody that can work with graphics and stuff like that. We're putting, the boot camp together for GABA, the Gambling Addictions Breakthrough Advance, and we're also doing another program called TTT, Thriving Through Trauma. And I'm going to be doing another program, and I'm going to have Jim. I think it's going to have with business startups and money development. I think, Jim, we might be able to work on something like that. It's going to be a digital platform where we put some videos together and just share ideas, really creative ideas for those of you that are interested in stuff like this. That's kind of the future. I was thinking about that. You might be interested in that. So be prepared, Jim.
Hmm.
And
Okay.
hey, we might as well. We've got some time. We might as well be creative and build streams of income.
Hmm.
I was thinking about this. I remember a couple of years ago, I was listening to Jim Rohn and Anthony Robbins and Dean Graciosi, a lot of these interesting, they're multimillionaires, and they said you got to have at least seven income streams. Like seven? What do you mean seven income streams? You got to have different income streams coming in. You can't just depend on a job. So I've been looking at my life, and since 2016, since I've decided to change my life and get away from gambling, I've been able to produce at least four small income streams. Four of them. They're small, but they're growing. And if I pass away, somebody in my family will get those little income streams. There's nothing really to brag about yet, but I've established income, something that I never would have had if I was still gambling, something that I've never had before. And we all have the creativity, we all have the opportunity, again, through reprogramming, right? Reprogramming your home, your personal computer, your personal high output computer, which is your mind, your brain, and everything that goes along with it, your emotional system, your nervous system, your subconscious, even your, what is it, the reptilian part of your brain. You remember that one?
Mhm.
What is
Yeah.
it? The amygdala? Is that what they call it?
Mm.
I think that's what they call it. The amygdala, the reptilian part of the brain. We still function there, right? Um, Anyhow, I'm not a neurosurgeon or a mind specialist, but I do know a few things about how the mind reprograms because I've been able to do it. And we all have an idea, right, of how to reprogram. So, by the way, thank you. I don't know why I got such a long discourse on that one, but I did. So, we're coming close to the end of the hour, my friends, guests. I really want to thank all of you guys, um, and Jim for coming on again. I know I can count how many times I've said I'll quit when I'm even. Yeah, see, it's like our language, the what we say to ourselves. We're recycling. We're either recycling garbage to, I don't want to offend you, but that's what we're doing with our own language. We need to start recycling something that we can make new, right? Take the old and make something new out of it. Um, what do you think? What do you think, Jim?
Yeah.
Renewable energy. We need to become recyclers. Maybe that'll be my next message. You need to recycle yourself.
Yeah. I mean, if we want to go ahead and really change, I think it starts with first really understanding ourselves. All your behaviors, emotions. I mean, for myself, I was thinking about, what really propelled me to to achieve or accomplish things, and I you know I really kind of determined that a lot of it was external motivation. A lot of it, I mean, it's like we all believe that, oh yes, we should have, intrinsic motivation, internal, where, we have this desire to do something. But I found that, when I had to be there for other people, you know, I mean, whether it was like when teaching or or a certain kind of job where people were expecting me to do something, I would get up 5 o'clock in the morning, even though it didn't feel good. It's like because I had to be there. I had to be there because people were depending upon me. So
Yeah,
I kind of understood myself. It didn't feel good. Didn't, I didn't, I'd rather stay in bed or whatever, right? But I did it
that
because
sounds
I
good.
knew
Yeah,
that, someone else was counting on me, and that was me. I understood that. So if I could understand, what kind of drives me to do this or that, I can kind of set up my life so that I can have these external motivators, move me in a better direction for, like, let's say, a gambler or something like that, right?
exactly.
How can they, it's like, well, I understand that, shoot, you know, uh I wouldn't dare cross my wife, you know, so I'm going to bring her into this situation and make myself accountable to her, and give her the credit cards or the debit cards, or all the money, because I know that it's like, I won't be able to get the money. I won't be able to get the money. She has it. So, and she'll scold me too, and I don't like that, right? That might not be an internal change, but it gets you going, right? It can get you going, especially if you're in a really bad situation where, you can't control stuff, right? How can you put those blocks, right? How can you put those blocks? How can you, like, steer yourself in the direction, in spite of yourself? Because sometimes, the internal, takes time to really, really build up that defense. Um,
Yeah, you have to be patient with yourself. You have to be
right.
extremely patient. You have to be kind. You have to learn to be kind. You have to learn to be patient, and sometimes things don't go the way as planned.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
have to learn to accept. Isn't there in the 12 steps of recovery? There's a statement. I call it a tenet. Um, God grant me the serenity to accept the things or, that I can change, or help me to accept and the things that I can't change that
The
are
wisdom to
outside
know
of me,
the difference.
beyond my control. Because sometimes things don't go our way,
Right.
and
Yeah.
but we still get a result, right? We still get a result from that.
If we know that we are crafty sons of bitches, right? And
Yep.
we're gonna figure it out. Okay, I know that I'm a crafty son of a bitch, and I'll be able to get that money and go, do whatever, right? Okay, I know that. All right. I got to figure out how I can put some blocks in it, because I know myself enough that I'm going to be moving. I'm going to be tempted. I'm going to have those feelings, emotions, and I need a block. I know myself enough. So it's important to really, really find out how we tick, understand the direction we want
Exactly.
to go in, understand ourselves, and figure out a plan to, minimize, the opportunities for us to move towards those bad habits again. Really important.
Yeah. Move
Um,
away. Yeah. Move away from the bad habits. Definitely. Um, live a magnificent life. Great theory. Harder to apply if your brain is captivated by the possessed demon of the CG. Yeah, casino gambling, definitely. Yeah, there is a place where there's a danger zone. And that's where, I warn you as I warn myself, because there is a danger zone where if you're not careful, again, our minds are like a computer, right? Like a high output computer. And if enough of the right input goes in there, you do the bidding. I was reading here. Let me read this, and because we're going to be ending here soon. But why is the mind compared to a computer? How is the human brain comparable to a computer? The human brain, with about 10 billion neurons, works like a computer. We won't bombard you with hard to understand science, but basically, human brains and computers can perform similar tasks such as information processing. And we talked a little bit more earlier about this. So, um, again, my friends, guests that will be coming down, I appreciate it. We've had a really large audience today. That's really impressive. In fact, I haven't seen an audience this big in several weeks. This was episode number 166. I got to keep an eye on these broadcasts. I came up with that number. I thought it was a good one. And so, yeah, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here? What do we do? Now that we're understanding that we're at a fork in the road, and we need to understand that our mind is being programmed, or we are programming it, or it's being reprogrammed.
you know, find out about yourself. Really sit down and really take notes on yourself, your behaviors, your emotions, and learn as much as you can about yourself. Find out, it's like, where do you want to go? You know, learn about, first find out, okay, you know what? I'm acting in a very bad way. I'm feeling in a very bad way. I'm doing things, I'm saying things, I'm thinking things. What are these things, right? Write them down, journal, you know,
Well,
and
yes,
tell yourself, why are these things bad? Why is this not good for me? Just kind of, have a conversation with yourself, jot those things down. And once you kind of learn about yourself, it's like, this sucks. This is no good. This is not good for my bank account. This is not good for my family. I mean, it's like, why am I doing these kinds of things? Learn about yourself, you know, and then find out where you want to go. right? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? Have that focus there, and then start working on yourself. You got to work on yourself. Look at yourself and start moving in the direction of the good focus. The good focus. Realize that there's just temptations, there's the good feelings, the sabotagers, the focus thieves who want who have something in store for you that'll benefit them and not you. You gotta care about yourself, right? You gotta care about yourself. It's like, you know what, I want to get better. I want to be better. I want to feel better.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. That's the
change the
programming.
focus.
That's
Yeah,
the
the
programming.
programming. Right. The
Yeah.
programming.
And, values, identify your good values, identify your LBs, your limiting beliefs, identify them, identify your focus thieves. If you don't know what your focus thieves are, they're going to keep robbing you blind. If you don't know what your limiting beliefs are, you're going to be limited. Typically, people go through 90-day cycles where your LBs kick in. You can do good for 90 days and then your limiting beliefs kick in typically after 90 days. I That could be sooner, but typically that's the people get fired up, man, I'm going to change my life 90 days and then after 90 days. So if you're aware that the your limiting beliefs are going to start really kicking in after 90 days, you'd be more prepared for them. Now, are we entering into a state of no return? Here's my call to action. Time to recognize what's going on in your committee room. It's time to recognize what's going on in your committee room. We've shared a lot of information here. Hopefully, some of it sticks. You know, um, journaling, MMPC, mind, mouth, power, congruency. What is mind, mouth, power, congruency? That's when you get your mind and your mouth kind of, it's not kind of, when you get your mind, your thoughts, your paradigms, values, beliefs lined up with your words and they kind of work together, they flow and produces a power. Mind, mouth, power, congruency. Journaling helps that big time. Guess I'm always preaching on journaling. You know what else helps? Reading. Read the King James Bible, read a book, journal, read my book. If you got it, the little red book. This isn't a copy that I got. Keep on reprogramming, keep on until you get to that level where it locks in and it's like, man, I feel good right here. Right? You can get comfortable there, then you got to go to the next level. That's where the challenge comes in, right? Then you get comfortable there and you're getting new insights and new creativity. And then you go to the next level. Man, this is what life is. This is the true gamble. If you want to talk about gambling, that's the true gamble that we should be taking. Well, that's my call to action. If there's anything else that Jim wants to share, I
Yeah, just
will.
just 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 remember why are you here, and why are you here, and why are you thinking about all these things? It's for yourself, because you care about yourself. You got to remember, it's like you are important. You have the ability. You want the best for yourself. Like, think about, don't be apathetic about yourself. Don't be apathetic
Yeah,
about yourself. Care about yourself enough and know that you can move to the next level, you know, to better yourself. You can do it.
exactly.
Remember that's, you're important. You are important. I'm important, you know, and if you can strengthen yourself, if you care about the world, you- you're going to work on yourself, man. You're going to work on yourself. Work on yourself
You,
to get better. Keep watching this program. Keep reading. Keep your focus on the good stuff.
yeah,
How you
keep
can.
coming back.
Hmm.
Keep coming back. Jim is. So if it's good for Jim, it's good for the gander. It's good for
Hmm.
the geese.
That's right. Right.
um, hey, there is coaching and mentoring available for where it's applicable. We have tools, we have support, Soldier Scribe. The email to receive weekly uh, bites of SciTech, they're just little emails that come out. They're just inspiration. Sometimes they may not even make any sense, but it's a good read, anyways. Right there, join here right below, soldiersofselfmastery.com/welcome. If you decide that you feel compelled to contribute, you can go through that website, soldiersofselfmastery.com. Donate. You can go there. You can go to PayPal. Hey, we're accepting all kinds of donations here for this mission, and we want to reach. I think next week I'm going to talk a little bit. There's a young man that came on the broadcast and left a message, and I made a video for him. It's going to be coming on YouTube, but I'm going to be talking about online gambling, the deceptions and the power of the destruction of what online gambling is doing more than ever today, especially with young people. So we'll probably be talking about that next week. I'm going to encourage you to join. I'm going to encourage you to be here, take notes. If you want a journal, let me know. I'm going to request at least a $5 or $7 contribution so that I can send this to you. I'm not going to do this at no cost anymore. I can't do it. I can't do it for free. I can't give them away for free. So I'm going to start charging shipping for them. So if you want a nice journal, we got a few of them left. I'm going to do that for you. And again, I'm not lining up my pockets with any of this. It's all going right into the mission. It's all going right back to pay individuals that are helping editing videos, put platforms together, do marketing. A lot of that stuff does take time, very intricate work, and it uses Wi-Fi. So all of this stuff uses Wi-Fi. All right. So thank you once again. I want to acknowledge each and every one of you. Kelly, thank you for hanging out with us. I appreciate you. Laura, I'll be looking for that 50 million. Thank you for hanging out. Uh, Live a magnificent life. Did we get here? Well, there's been quite a crowd here today. Thank you guys. K6. And did I get Keith? I'll get Keith again. I truly appreciate you, Keith. Appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for your contribution. Keep going forward. Laura, Emily. Did I get Emily? There's Emily there. And Apostador Falido. Hello. Glad you can make it. Hey, make sure you be here 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm in California. All right. And Jim, welcome for hanging out. And Jim's always got his shotgun ready. He's always ready to shoot, man. Ready to blast. My long, wait a minute. That sounds a little bit weird, huh? But that's what your name is. So we'll just call you Mai Tai. I would convince myself that I should go to the casino today because I felt entitled to. Yeah, we do that. That's a programming that we give ourselves. Huh? All right, my friends. And then the rest of the other, Mark. Hey, Mark. Welcome. Mark was here a little late. K6. Who was the other one? Keith. Race. Hey, Race was with us. Mark Cameroon was with us again. Thank you guys all. And who else? That's it. And then the other people that were on, the guests that were on worldwide. Thank you guys. Hey, I appreciate all you guys. You fired me up. I'm going to hopefully, Lord willing, if I last through this week, I'll see you next Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here. Remember, make every day super fantastic, terrific, and over the top in spite of and because of. And your good life is going to come out of a good series of good, constant, positive reminders.
Thanks, Santos. You have a good week.
All right. Thanks a lot.